noises, stop making noises, just so you know.
You hear that, fans? Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Quentin Tarantino Retrospective. Oh, there's just so many ones to nickname. I'm the Wolf, Travis Snail.
Yeah, I knew you'd steal it.
Oh, gosh. Take over.
Oh,
Kirkland.
golly. I am the righteous man, Kirkland Patsa.
My name's Paul. This is between y'all, Dylan Muzz.
Hey, let's go.
Great
like
one,
that.
great
That
one.
is a good one.
Why the fuck would you ask me then? If you haven't guessed, we are reviewing Pulp Fiction. We are doing that because Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Quentin Tarantino's 9th film, is upon us. We'll be reviewing that. But in a lead-up, we are reviewing and retrospecting every single Tarantino movie he has done. Head over to Patreon and get episodes early. Get half for $1. $5, you get all of them. There's a bunch already up there. We recorded a bunch in the past. What they are, I don't know. You gotta go to Patreon.
Ew.
Pulp Fiction. I don't know. I've been screwing up not having the synopsis ready, but we know what this
Can I
movie's
ask you a
about.
question
Yeah.
while you look that up? That little like dictionary, like I don't know what
The
you call it.
definition
The
of
definition of
pulp?
pulp.
Yeah.
Is that like very significant for both the meanings, or is it not significant whatsoever?
What do you mean?
Yeah, what do you mean? I'm lost too.
Like how
So-
is pulp related to the story is what you're asking?
Well, like yeah, I guess so.
Well, to me,
Because pulp, it showed pulp like okay, maybe I am mixed. Yeah.
yeah, because it describes like it's talking about it being on a lower quality film and stuff like that, and the way it's like really dirty. I can't remember the exact quote. Do you have that written down? I was
Nope.
gonna write it down for the thing,
I don't.
but
I didn't write it down. I probably should have, since I wanted to bring it up.
I know
It was a
we
user
should've.
error.
Do you have the synopsis? Is that
I
what you
do,
want?
yeah. The lives of two mob hitmen, a boxer, a gangster, and his wife, and a pair of diner bandits intertwined in 4 tales of violence and redemption.
So
Classic. It's always a short thing with Tarantino, even though the movie's
Yeah.
years
not like
years
when
long.
we were doing the X-Men retro, they fucking tell you the entire movie.
Yeah.
Happens in the synopsis, like spoilers and all.
Yeah, I really want to know the people who write these things because it's super inconsistent. Like even Spider-Man retro, like some would be like multiple paragraphs and then some would be one sentence.
Yeah.
It's like what's going on here?
That's very inconsistent.
Yeah.
So I guess pulp is just sorry, go ahead.
A soft, moist, shapeless mass of matter, or number 2, a magazine or book containing lurid subject matter and being characteristically printed on rough, unfinished paper.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of like a symbolism for what the movie is.
100%, like
yeah.
in the movie, and it being very meta, because this is a very, I guess I'll go with my overall, it's still in the Reservoir Dogs reign of, it has that independent, low budget feel. There's even, like, you know, when like Jules shoots a guy, you never see any, like for one point when he shoots, oh god, what's his name with the Whataburger? I forget. But anyway, when he shoots him, there's many cuts in here where it's like, you can tell this is very low budget, and that's what works for it. And that's the thing with this quote is, when it comes up, it just tells you everything you need to know about this film. It's going to be a little kind of unpolished. It's going to be really gritty. And all Tarantino ones are, but I think this one has the most bite. This is the most kind of hard edge. Even with Inglourious Basterds, this just has... It has a fun, cool feel, but it also just feels dirty and raw. And I think the other reason why, and it's my favorite, you can go back when we did our top 10 films, other than Dark Knight, taking that out because I got Batman bias. This is my favorite film of all time. Still call me out because I can't even remember the definition, but you know what? I got to remember a lot of things. But the thing is, I think the reason why it just feels that way opposed to like a Django or an Inglourious Basterds, even a Hateful Eight, Kill Bill, is... They do their best, and not even then, it feels like it is the real world. It's like in that Reservoir Dogs where Django and Glorious Bastards, they are in the, you know, Bastards in the real world, then it takes a turn. Django's in the real world, but we've talked about that. Check out that episode when that comes out. Very high stylized action. Same thing with Kill Bill, very cartoony, fun action, death proof. This to me is exactly everything I love about Tarantino. Django for me is that fun one. This is just him at his very best, and he's done many great films. It's not a downhill thing. He's kind of kept a quality, but the characters, there's people in this movie like Butch. I fucking hate Butch, but I love him as a character because he's so well developed, but I don't like him at all because he's just like this piece of shit person, but he does such a good job of making you care about these criminals, most of them that are kind of garbage people, that are terrible people, but these stories, the way they intertwine, and obviously this was the first, that Reservoir Dogs, you get little previews of that with his playing with chronological order, but the way I just remember the first time watching this, and for the first half it is just a movie. You start off with Vincent, you're going with him, the date happens, he meets Bruce Willis, and you're kind of like, there's little signs like when they have the weird swim shorts on, you're like, oh, what's going on here? But you just be like, oh, I didn't see that. And then when it jumps back to Bruce Willis and jumps back, it just feels so, at the time I saw it the first time, it just feels so different and so unique, and all his other films do that, but this being kind of that first one that really doubled down on that, it just stands out. The characters are phenomenal. There's not a single moment in this film where I'm bored. It's a movie that the second I finish it, I could watch it again. It is 2.5 hours, we're talking about before cast, but it does not feel that way. And it's also in the genre. I'm a big crime fan of, referring back to that top 10, Goodfellas, Departed, some of my favorite movies. I'm really hopeful because Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I think we'll have a crime aspect, but it'll be more on the serial killer side with Charles Manson. I really hope we get back to that. For his final film, he would do something in this vein again of not like a Western, not a war, something with crime, because I love the way he handles her. I've always wanted something present day, because this was present day for the 90s, and just love it. Everybody, this movie made me fall in love with John Travolta. He's Vincent Vega he has that like brashness of his brother, but he's still someone you can relate. He feels like a real person. That's the thing. It's this great dialogue. There's some stylized stuff, but it all feels real and very raw. And this movie I could just watch over again and again, and that's why I count no comic book films. It's my favorite movie. I love this movie. It's fantastic. I could watch it again and again. So.
Very well said, Travis. I have to agree. When we did our top 10 movies, this one, I can't remember where I put it on my list, but I think every time I watch it, it just becomes more and more like potentially just my favorite movie of all time. As Travis said, like the dialogue is just so good. This is like the epitome of characters just having conversations that are just real, like two characters just talking about, just shooting the shit essentially.
Milkshakes.
Yeah, but then a lot of it like actually does come back into like the story. Will come up again, like, that classic scene where they're talking about burgers, like what they call burger in France. And then later in that scene, Jules brings that up and like as part of his like interrogation. Yeah. So there's a lot of like details like that where the dialogue, even though it's just like fun, like banter, that's really just like world building, like character stuff, like comes back into the story.
The Fox Force 5 joke, like that comes back.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff, right? And it's so well done. Every time I watch this movie, I discover new little details about it. Just little tiny details, but then also like just cinematography things. I love the cinematography in this movie. There's so many amazing shots. Whereas, like he can, I don't know. I think he can kind of go up and down with that. Like some of his movies, like Reservoir Dogs, there's some cool shots, but for the most part, it's like pretty simple. And then I know we're jumping forward, but Django, like there was less cinematography stuff to really pick out there, but this movie has tons of just really creative angles, even though there's a good amount of different sets, but like there's still like a small amount or like long scenes in one spot that he gets kind of creative with it, and I love seeing that stuff. The chronological order, or the I guess non-chronological order, makes this movie really rewatchable. At least the first couple times I saw it, I was always like, okay, how do I like piece it together? And now I obviously understand how it all fits together, but it still keeps it interesting in that you have like a big character death for Vincent Vega, but then he's just like comes back and is there for the rest of the movie, and it doesn't feel weird at all, right? Like it's just so tasteful the way the pacing keeps up. And honestly, I feel like he could have randomized the order that it all appears in. It would all work, because what Travis said as well, like I'm never bored through this movie.
No,
every
100%.
Scene is so good. The acting is fantastic. Like my favorite role for so many of these actors in here. It is just such a fun movie, and I think at the very, like, if I could only pick one thing, it's just the dialogue. The dialogue is so good. And yeah, every time I watch this movie, more and more my favorite. I've seen it probably like 6 or 7 times now. So of the Tarantino stuff, it's the one I've seen the most. It's one I saw like years and years ago, and then for some reason it took me a while to watch the rest of his movies. But yeah, this is an amazing movie.
Yeah, you guys said it really well. I don't even know where to start. I'll start with the cinematography. I think this is like the strongest cinematography out of all the Tarantino movies. For me personally, I just feel like the way that he chooses the shots to do in the specific scenes, it's just like genius. And it's like, it's just little things. Like there's one scene, it's when Vincent's like, he goes to pick up, I forget her name.
Mia.
Yeah, Mia. Thank you. And he's just like in the bathroom, like pep talking himself, and it's like a low shot, and it's like showing him through the mirror. Like it's just so creative. Yeah. And then there's another scene. I don't want to go.
They even do that earlier when he's buying the drugs from that guy. Yeah. And he's sitting on the bed, and you see his face through the mirror, and then Vincent Vega's kind of like the main.
It's such a good shot.
That's like another it's like a callback shot. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, exactly. And or there's just like another one where like he's like walking through. I think he's just walking to an elevator, and there's like a shot up in the corner, and it's super like easy, but like the fact that it's not just like following him, it's just like up in the corner, like at a set spot. It's just it just makes it that much more better for me personally. And then just going to the dialogue, like that's just such a heavy hitting thing in all these Tarantino movies. Really, like it's just whether they're talking about something that's progressing the story or it's just talking about what's a cheeseburger called in France.
Yeah.
It just adds to the realism to like what the user or what the viewer feels like they're not watching someone explain how they're gonna go get, I don't know,
a weapon.
Yeah, exactly.
Something
Or
we
like-
can't relate to.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's just like when he's explaining about like going to France or living in Amsterdam. It's just really random shit, and they're just totally bullshitting for like minutes.
Yeah.
And it's just like you just are engaged, and it's like I don't know how this is benefiting me, but it is, and it's just I'm so engaged, and I never feel like there's a moment that I want to like just go on my phone,
Yeah.
like oh like the scene, blah blah blah. It's just I'm always engaged with it, and I'm just loving it. The dialogue is just so good, and it's so good when it's just bullshitting, right? Like it's just small talk. Like there's certain scenes that there's like a lot of stuff going on, but like they're just in one. Like I guess I'll just pull an example. But when I don't know if I should be going into this. If I'm just
You go now. You finished it, so.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Transition.
Yeah.
So overall, I really love this movie. One of my favorites. But when he brings Mia to like the drug dealer's house and everyone's freaking out, and it's just they're in that one room and like they keep panning the shots all over the place, and there's just constant dialogue going on. Whether it's like he's looking for like a med kit or blah blah blah, or they're just like bitching at each other.
Vincent
Blah,
is
blah.
yelling at his
Vincent's
wife.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and just
It's a
everyone.
marker. It's a felt pen.
And like that's it's not really a short scene, but there's just constant dialogue going on the entire scene, and it's just mayhem, but it works, and it feels so like real.
Even
and
the
it's
camera
awesome.
like as it follows, like 'cause Vincent pulls up onto the lawn, smashes into the
So
front of his house,
good.
and then like the camera just follows the drug dealer guy. Do we know his name? I can't remember. his
Jimmy.
name. Jimmy. Yeah,
Jimmy.
follows. No, isn't Jimmy?
Jimmy's the other guy.
Tarantino's
Yeah,
character's name?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is. Yeah.
It follows that
Those are my
guy, and
trivia.
it like it's kind of like shaky cam a little, like following him outside, and so you kind of get that live reaction of like seeing what exactly he did alongside him. It's like
Lance.
Lance. There you go.
Yeah, there it is. It's
That's
so
one.
it's so great too because they're just yelling at each other like outside on the lawn. Like he's got neighbors. They're like just crash that. It's just so like I don't know, but it's just so good.
And when they
then,
get to the actual like puncturing her with the needle, just those zoom ins on everybody, no score, dead silence,
Yeah.
even just the shot of the needle and it just dripping, it's just so fantastic. Yeah.
yeah, you could like it's tense like just for the viewer. Like you don't know like. I don't know. Like the first time I saw him just smack her in the chest, I thought it was just excessively hard for one thing.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just like
You gotta
holy
do
shit.
this. You gotta stab her. No, you don't have to
3
stab her
times?
3
He's
times,
like-
just once.
Yeah. And then I didn't mention it, but just the chronological order of things, and it's just how smooth it is on when they kill off the Vincent character, and then they're able to just bring him back in that other diner scene, and it not feel weird, not feel like you already lost that character, and it's like, what was the point of him dying if we see him right now, right?
Yeah.
Like it just all works.
Well, I remember the very first time I saw this because Vincent is the main character for this movie up until that point. And then when he just gets shot, you're like, whoa, but then they do bring it back. That's the only one thing I disagree with the randomizing. I think it has to end on that diner scene because
I think the start and the finish for sure.
I agree.
Everything else,
Yeah, but I remember seeing that the first time and just being, oh yeah, I'm loving Vincent, loving John Travolta, and then he just dies on the shitter, you know, and it's just like, wow, and he's gone. There's no, and that's where it doesn't feel no big Hollywood movie. There's no big things you can't believe. Maybe you could say like Wallace and Butch's little. Like getting hit by the car and the people, but to me that's still realistic with the people finding them and everything. Like everything feels like it could happen in this world, and they don't all actually lose. They can be talking about burgers, but then Jules is super intimidating, and we've talked about it with other characters in the past and coming up in these retros that he's just so good at making you still be scared of a character that was just talking about like Le Big Mac, you know, like in most time that would be just a comedic character, but once they get up there and they're dealing with Marvin and his gang, it's not comedic anymore, you know. So and that's just masterfully done.
What I think is cool about that scene where Vincent dies as well is that you kind of like wonder like, hey, where's Jules? Like, why is he not there doing this with him? And then it kind of gets answered later in that scene where they're together again.
Walking the earth.
It's kind of fun.
It's so
Just
good.
that whole. I mean, I love everything about this movie, but I don't know how we're gonna do this because like I want to talk about every single moment. But I guess to close that scene out, like I love like the toaster strudels. How he just puts them down. That's like kind of like the cue, and he shoots them. I love that he just like puts the gun down, like wipes it down. He does a very bad job. Like I don't think it'd be very effective, but
Butch is an idiot of a character, like in the best way, but he's just a total meathead. He's making very not strange decisions, but just very single-minded decisions.
But it's also like really consistent for Vincent's character to just leave his gun like
Oh,
on
yeah.
the counter. Like it really fits that character as well. And then a classic like doorway shot, as we've talked about with Tarantino,
There is a
and we
couple,
will
actually.
talk
There's a
about.
couple when
there's-
Jimmy's talking to the wolf. That
Yeah.
whole scene is
Mhm.
just them, and it's
Yeah, I love that shot.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
such a cool shot.
and it's such a just a funny scene. Just my parents,
The quilts.
my parents-in-law gave me these quilts, and they mean a lot to us. And like,
Yeah.
oh well, if they were alive, but Marcel's alive, he could buy you these quilts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
Uncle
I don't know.
Marcel's.
Oh crap! What was I gonna say? Oh, with the Vincent in the bathroom. Vincent, anytime he's in the bathroom, something bad happens to
Mhm.
him.
And he's always reading that book.
He's
That's
always
right.
reading that book. When
Yeah.
Mia gets her overdose, when he gets killed, and Jules gets stuck up, and everything. I think the opening of the film too is just great because it's a conversation that it is normal. Well, not normal in the sense of like it's not anything that out of the world. They're just talking about robbing places, right? But
Yeah.
it's like exhilarating conversation they're having, and also gives great motivation to the scene. It's like mini 5-minute build up of why they're going to rob this diner, and Tim Roth just breaking it down of this and this and about that thing with the little girl. Everything just
He's so good. In that.
oh, he's
He is
so
so
good.
good,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I love that setup. It's in a scene that could be boring and kind of like, all right, let's just get to the part where they stick him up. That's like the least interesting part. And then they make that. And it's such a good hang up too, because you don't know Jules and Vincent are going to be there. And then when the movie ends, I remember the same thing. I'll refer to it a lot of times. The first time I saw it, it's just like, oh shit, like you've been following these two characters. And then, how are these characters going to play? And then just
Mhm.
a perfect wrap up. And
Yeah.
it's so good.
Yeah, I'm a fan of things that loop. Like a lot of my favorite albums, kind of from start to finish, they kind of are meant to be so that you can just kind of replay them. And that obviously it's not the same thing here. It's not a looping story, but I like when things like start and end in the same place,
Yeah.
or a same
It
location.
doesn't
at
happen
least.
too often, but it's
Mhm.
cool when they're able to do it. Like,
Well, it's hard to
right.
do because it's like, how do you have like a progression and then also like start and end in the same
Yeah,
place? Doesn't really make
exactly.
sense. That's just like, yeah, it's just I love that opening scene for that because you kind of forget about it too over the course of how long this movie is.
Yeah,
You kind of
right.
forget about those characters and then it just kind of comes right back.
Because that could just be, and that's what I like about that, could just be a setting of what this world is like and shitty
Mhm.
people and how this guy's gonna, this guy and this girl, terrible people. And that kind of sets you up because we meet these people who are just purely robbing people. And they are,
Yeah.
they are bad people. They're ending people's lives, and that kind of sets you up. But then they still bring it back and, like, okay,
Yeah.
that's why they're there. But even then, if it wasn't there, it does set up this is the world you're in.
Mhm.
And, because no one's a good person in this movie, they're all criminals, they're all drug dealers,
Yeah.
they're all doing drugs. Like, even Mia as a character, like they kind of, she's not a criminal, but I've always taken it as when they're talking about that foot massage that she, to me, lies and like, oh, he never gave me a foot massage. But she's that type of character. Like
Mhm.
even at the end when her and Vincent are dancing in the home together, she's very manipulative, and and
Yeah.
that's where it's like she's not a criminal per se, but
She's
like
in the gray area.
she's getting people thrown out windows and whatnot, right? So no one's motives are good here, other than
yeah.
I don't know, Christopher Walken passing that watch on.
Yeah.
He's a good guy,
Yeah, that's kind of a funny scene. I like the ending of that
Great
scene, how
scene.
he just like grabs the watch and then it just like a very quick cut.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just a funny like one character scene, I guess, for Christopher Walken
It's
just doing
so
his
good.
classic Christopher Walken thing. It's such a funny story. It's weird. It's like, why are you telling this to a
Well,
kid?
yeah, it's very in depth, and like you don't really understand how it's gonna end, and then he just explains how it was like up people's asses for like
Yeah.
what was it, like 10 years? or
Oh yeah, and it's such a good subverting expectations because the whole first half of that conversation very serious, and
Yeah.
you're first of all wondering like it's a watch, but like what is this thing? Why is it so important? And you tell that story, and I'm sure there's many actors that could have done that, but I just can't picture anybody me loving
This
it seems much with
watch.
Christopher Walken. Yeah, like the way he does it so serious at the beginning, but then it kind of gets a little jokingly, and he's like proud of keeping this watch up his ass. But I can't picture nobody other than Christopher Walken
Yeah.
making that scene, because that scene, if you really think about that dialogue, to me it works because of Walken, and it is good dialogue, but it is just exposition. Kind of, it could be just boring exposition. It's just talking about, oh, your grandfather went to war and he had this watch, then his great grandfather passed it on, then
Mhm.
your dad had it and he got captured. It's all very just kind of bland, like exposition. This is how this watch got here, right? But the way Tarantino like works it, and also just the way Walken delivers it, I think that's why there's a actor of his caliber there, because I think it is still good dialogue, but you need somebody with like gravitas to talk about,
Yeah.
to make you care about this watch and everything like that, because it's going to be all of Butch's story, right? Because he is an idiot to go back for this watch where he could die. If it wasn't for Zed, he'd be dead. He'd be done. He'd be gone. He left town. He could have left town with all this money, but he had to go back for this watch. Yes, it's important, but still, at the end of the day, he might that watch or me and my girlfriend possibly dying. But he still goes for that watch, and he treats her like garbage the entire time. He's always talking down to her. He's always just like, when he calls her part of my friend, but when he calls her retard, stuff like that, and like he's always poking fun at her in like the worst way. And I love that character because I hate him, but he's like an irredeemable character. Even when they talk to him about like killing that guy in the ring, he's like, oh well, the second you
shouldn't have laced up his mitts.
It's like that's not a perspective you have in boxing. Like it's when he kills Vincent, it's very nonchalant. He doesn't care, and
even when he's like goes back to his car and he swoops back, he like goes back to the house. He's like, oh yeah, he's like, Butch, you got it. I forget specifically what he says, but he's like basically like, yeah, I won that. Like he's proud of himself. For,
yeah. And even Zed's dead, baby. Zed's dead.
Yeah.
And he's such a fascinating character. I watch him and I'm just like, man, I want him to get caught because I hate him. But like he's such a strange character, but obviously he's had some issues in his life.
Yeah, I love the dialogue between him and his girlfriend. Oh, God,
Fabienne,
or something.
Yeah,
like Fabienne. The cinematography one when they're like just getting ready in the morning. He like gets out of the shower and like sits down, and then she's just kind of like brushing her teeth. It's just like a really humanizing scene, right? Like not many movies have an extended dialogue scene where someone's like brushing their teeth, but it's like something that we all do every day. Hopefully, you should brush your teeth every day.
I was gonna say that scene actually was interesting because they're actually like up like in the night or whatever. They do their little sex scene and then they shower. He like goes to bed. She's like brushing her teeth, about to go to bed, and then it's the morning and she's brushing her teeth. I just like how that transitioned. It was just really clever. It was a neat little touch.
And she's got this like kind of goofy, like little cryptic dialogue. She's a really funny character.
Yeah,
very quirky.
Very quirky. But you kind of like sympathize with her too. Like she feels like really innocent.
She just seems so innocent. Yeah. Totally.
And you're like, why is she with this guy? I think clearly because it's just like, I think because he's just such a macho guy, that's what she's attracted to. But it's just so many times like she goes to answer him and he's like, spit out that whatever the toothpaste, and then he's like all nice and kind again. It's just leave this guy. But no, there.
I love their dialogue when she goes outside and she's like, whose motorcycle is that? And he's like, it's Chopper. She's like, whose Chopper is that? Zed.
Who's Zed? Zed's dead, baby.
And then like
Zed's dead.
When he just starts like yelling at her, like get on the bike, she just starts crying. She's
like,
no.
And then he's like,
oh, it's okay, it's okay. Did you enjoy your pancakes?
Sorry.
Yeah.
They didn't have blueberry. I had to give buttermilk. Like it's those little details, right? Like that like there wasn't the blueberry pancake. She had to get butter. Like that's just such a little detail that is very. It's one of those. That's what we were mentioning at the start, like the realism, right? Like that's just such a little detail you don't need to put in there at all.
I think it's overlooked usually. Like,
yeah, but then the way like she delivers that line, it's just like a very like that part of the dialogue is really rushed. It just works so well. I love that whole sequence when he goes back to his house to get the watch. Like he parks, you get like that long scene of him like going through. Detail I just noticed like this time when I watched it is when he like goes past some apartment and you can hear a TV on the inside or a radio or something, and they talk about Jackrabbit Slims. I can't hear any other details. Like it's very quiet. But I thought this was kind of cool because that's the restaurant that Mia and Vincent are eating at.
He does that not a couple times, but the other one he does is at the very beginning you can hear Vincent and Jules talking, and you also see Vincent go into the washroom while Honey Bunny and Ringo are talking.
Right. Oh,
so he does it a few times where you hear other things going on. Yeah. Obviously that comes in later, but at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, it just shows like how purposeful everything is with this. But yeah, that whole shot of just like following him through this yard, and then eventually as the camera just like kind of goes over top his shoulders and looks like where he's going to go. It just really like sets the scene, right? It makes the world feel more real because you're like seeing it's not just like here is the set today. It's like here's how we got to it. So yeah, I totally agree with Butch where it's just like you hate him so much.
Oh, and he's so arrogant that whole time. Like he shoots him and he's just like, oh yeah, like he at one point I can't remember when he stops and he's just like kind of says something about him just being so damn good or something like that. And then when he gets to the next light, Marcel's is there. But to that point, like everything's going swimmingly, and it's just, again such an idiot character. He goes and gets a watch. Oh, like he sees the stupid Pop-Tarts or and he like, what are you doing? Like get out of
a ton of noise.
Yeah, like it makes no sense. And then obviously you end up with the gimp and all that. And that scene again, once again, the first time I saw it, just a shocking scene. I saw it when I was relatively younger, so it was probably in a time I shouldn't have been watching it. So
100%.
I learned a lot in that moment of just like what was going on, and it's just such a good moment because like I love Marcellus Wallace for such a minor character we never get to see much of. You know everything about him in that scene of obviously very unfortunate things happen to him, but he does like what was it? Butch saves him, and he has that code of, you saved me. I just never see your fucking face again, but I'll let you live. And that's what I love. He's not some super generic. He's out for revenge, this and that. It's so good. And just when Butch's like, you all right? He's like, I'm pretty fucking far from okay.
I just love his voice.
Oh, I
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
He should have been
He's so
Kingpin at
badass.
some point in his life, But I and the last thing I'll say on Butch, you guys might have more, is I don't know why Tarantino decided to do this, but I love his like weird mini feud he has with Vincent in this movie. Like when they
stare down.
like, you got a problem? No, you got a fucking problem. And it's just like, what are you, like, why? And then also Tarantino revealed Butch is the one that keyed Vincent's car.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So it's
actually.
like,
That's
I
fun.
love that this feels like some side plot in the show, and it just comes full circle when he kills him on the shitter. And it's just, I love that. It's just this for no reason. We just met Bruce Willis. We know a little bit of Vincent, and it's just a super intense stare. You can tell that this guy's a boxer, this guy's a hitman, and these guys don't give a fuck. They'll like beat each other, they'll kill each other, and then obviously Marcel's breaks it up. But it's just, I love little details like that they give them this nice little side plot. That reminds me of some things they do in Django with certain characters. It's just like you can only read into it a little bit, and they only give you 2-3 minutes to bite onto it, but it's great. And you
That's
can
all
add,
you need.
Yeah, and just like I said, him keying his cars just like adds like a little layer.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So
When does that? Can you explain that some more?
I would imagine it probably happens. So after they do the stare down and he goes to sit down with Marcellus, I bet Butch goes like, fuck that guy, because he keys his car.
Yeah.
And then Vincent goes to get the drugs, and then he goes to pick up Mia. So because then he's like, some fucker keyed my car. So
Oh yeah.
Butch, in classic Butch fashion, to show some guy I'm gonna key his car, like such a little shit.
That is
prick.
cool. I always took that as like that had happened a few days ago. His car getting
Yeah.
keyed, but
It's never-
it's
yeah.
never said.
No,
so
no,
it makes
this is just
sense.
in an
That's a
inter-
cool detail.
Yeah,
That
it
is
was
a
in
really
the
cool
trivia,
detail.
but yeah. So.
The only other thing I had to say on like Butch, I guess it's tied in with Marcellus, but like I can't even remember if it's the first time we meet Butch, but like he's in the club before he has the interaction with Vince, and he's talking to Marcel, or I guess Marcellus is talking to Butch.
Yeah, your
And
ass will go down in the fifth. Yeah.
And just the camera like shot of it's only Butch. You don't even see Marcellus for the first like big chunk of that, and like Butch isn't even talking. He's just sitting there, and it's just Marcel. And like I guess it's just left. It's left for interpretation on who that character is at that point, Marcellus. And
Yeah.
I just love it that they don't even show him for like the first like major chunk, and then like he'll like be talking, and he'll have like a slight pause, and then he'll like start talking. I don't. For me, I love that
Yeah, I
scene
really like
so
that
much.
as well.
Yeah, and two things. One, I always kind of bag on him because sometimes I feel he phones in. Bruce Willis is not in this movie. This is like prime 90s Bruce Willis when he's doing Die Hard. He's so good in this role. He's so believable. Like, just his face motions when you're talking that scene, but also when he escapes from Zed's and he's just looking at these weapons. Like, he's so over top, but in a way where it's believable of this character.
Yeah.
And two, I don't have this in the trivia, but in Marcellus Wallace's that bandage that wasn't planned, he just cut himself shaving, and Tarantino saw it and said that he wanted to keep it. So that's why he has
okay.
that bandage there. So
I was wondering about
I was
that.
gonna ask you. I
simple,
figured that'd be in the
simple
trivia.
mistake. Simple mistake. Yeah.
It's a fun detail.
It is.
Luckily, with this movie being 94, I have trivia, but I also just have trivia I've accumulated over the years because,
Yeah.
like, people.
Nice.
Obviously, I feel like Tarantino gets asked about this quite a bit. So, and should have won an Oscar. That
Yeah.
should have won. I love Forrest Gump, but this should have won. And Sam Jackson should have won supporting. I like Ed Wood, but come on now.
Sam Jackson.
It's Sam Jackson's best role, and honestly, people always refer to this. This is kind of how he got typecast in what he is nowadays, right? The intimidating, cool guy. But this is
Motherfucker,
but this is like him, not that. That's the thing I think some people, and he's made a career of that. He's a fucking millionaire. But I think that's what some people took the wrong idea from this role, that Jules is like a very leveled character we get so much less screen time with him than we do with Vincent, but we to me know just as much about him when he has the miracle and that conversation with Vincent. And that's where I love this is him as a badass, but he's so many layers. Samuel Jackson as the badass would kill Ringo and take his money, have some good lines, but no, he's like, you keep that money, you do this. Like he has like a caring, a nurturing soul about him. That's what I love in this one, because I think it kind of span off to him doing a lot of like, I'm Sam Jackson yelling at you, you know. But this is it's all of them in their prime. Like I don't think there's anybody else I could name a better performance. Tim Roth, I think you could maybe make a case for Reservoir Dogs just because of the screen time, but it's easy Travolta's best role. It's easily for me. Die Hard is kind of tough, but I would still take this over Die Hard. But Sam Jackson's great in this movie.
Yeah,
should have won an Oscar.
Yeah, just to double down on that, like that ending scene is so much fun. It's like dual because it's like near the end of the movie, so it's like the fact that he's reciting that line again. It's like you've already heard it. It's like I don't want to hear this, but it kind of adds. It's like obviously Tim Roth's character doesn't want to hear that
Mhm.
shit either. It's just like annoying him at this point. He's just like mad essentially that he got duped, I guess.
Yeah.
But I love the cinematography in that scene as it's going back and forth between them. Essentially half the screen is cut off by the back of the other one's head. So for like while like Sam Jackson's being a badass, like you can't actually see you can only
Ringo.
like essentially the left side of the screen is cut off and you can just see his face as it's like zoomed in on, it's focused on him, and then it like goes back to Ringo as well, doing the same thing from that perspective. I thought it was interesting. Like I think it's interesting when Tarantino decides to zoom in really close on a character's face. He doesn't do it super often, but when he does, it feels like it's pretty purposeful. And I felt like in that scene in particular, because not only was he zooming in, but he's also cutting off the rest of the screen, so there's only one thing to look at, and it's their face as they're delivering these lines. And it just adds to, like, I don't know, I guess the intensity of that scene and the
Be
fervor
cool.
in that conversation between them. And that whole scene is fantastic. And then just like Vincent popping in like halfway through,
Just with his
and,
gun.
Yeah, and as per usual, he's always like,
He's just shoot first.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Also, like Ringo's, I don't even remember her name. Just like the girl.
Honey Bunny.
Yeah.
Yolanda.
Yeah. She was so great in that scene too.
Oh,
like when
yeah.
she's freaking out, she's just spitting and spewing. It
Are
was-
we cool?
Yeah.
We're not cool. Come on now. Like,
No.
look at me. You're doing great, baby. The way he's
Yeah.
talking to her. And
Even
everything.
even just the turn from like the opening scene when she's just so sweet and innocent, and then she's like, "I'll fucking kill
Oh
every
yeah.
last one of you."
she looks so evil, but like she's
Yeah.
so good in that, like as that role. Like I know
Uh-huh.
she's not in it much, but she
Yeah.
just sells it as that psycho robber
Yeah.
girlfriend.
See, and the thing I've always liked about him reciting it is, again, it's like subverting expectations, because to me, when I saw it the first time, you expect, because the last time he said this, he just emptied a cap into somebody. You expect that until he goes, I've always thought I was this and this, but I like that because it's kind of like this storm coming, like, oh man, he's just going to take out this guy, and obviously it shows
Yeah.
his journey coming up, but that scene is so good.
Especially when he mentions it, he explains why he said it. He's like, I used to just say that to sound like a bad motherfucker
Yeah,
before I
bef-
pop someone,
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
he said. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
But but no, it's just so
It
good.
was some ice cold shit, you know. But yeah, no, that whole scene's good. And like Vincent, when he say, "Oh, you keep that money," and then he's just like, "If you let him walk out of here with $1,500, I'll shoot him on principle. You won't go do a goddamn thing." And he's just like,
I just love their back and like they're in that high like
they're quad.
yeah, exactly. They're high tense. Like anyone could die. Like
Yeah.
everyone has a gun, and he's just like adding this thing, and then Jules has to like manage Vincent and like Honey
Yolanda,
Bunny. Yeah,
yeah.
Yolanda.
Get my wallet. Which one's your wallet? The one that says badass motherfucker.
Yeah, I
And
love
it actually does.
It's Tarantino's wallet, by the way, as well.
No way.
Yeah,
Bad
It was.
motherfucker.
I was at that point. I don't
Okay.
think he still has
He
it.
still
but
got
yeah.
it. It wouldn't look
It's just
that
falling
good.
apart. Can't keep his $1 million bills in it.
It doesn't say bad
Oh,
anymore. Just
no.
motherfucker.
Yeah.
The other scene that just came to mind, but it's when Jules and Vincent are having that back and forth on I forget the guy's name, but the guy that got thrown off the balcony or whatever, and they're having like that, and they're just walking up to go to the
Walking to the apartment.
yeah, walking to the apartment. They're having that conversation. They like stop multiple times. They're talking, and like it's just really like long dialogue. That's just awesome. I love it.
Well, too early.
Yeah, they get to the
Yeah.
door. What time is it? 7:23 in the morning. He's like, oh, we're too early, and then they like go off, and they just have another conversation.
Another doorway shot.
Yeah, and that's right.
Yeah.
It's funny. I forget which was it Reservoir Dogs that you mentioned that,
I think
because ever
so.
since then I've been looking for that in these
Yeah.
Tarantino movies. It's very common, and then especially you said how they play on the food thing too.
Mhm.
Definitely noticed that in this one with
Yeah.
the whole burger scene. But yeah, it's just going back to that though, when they're when they're waiting to go back in, and they're just like still talking about the guy that got thrown off the edge, and then finally like Jules is like, oh yeah, he's like they're kind of swaying their opinions on
Yeah.
whether it was right or wrong. And it was interesting to see like both their takes on it. And
Yeah.
it's such like
and then at the very end, he's like, "Yeah, good point."
yeah, exactly. And then they just go and do their business. But it's something that doesn't advance the story. I guess like they kind of bring it up with Vincent and Mia because it
It does a little bit with
Yeah, it
her.
kinda
Yeah,
comes
shows
back.
she's a little maybe manipulative.
yeah, and like it adds the tension on what Vincent
Dual
like,
purpose.
Yeah, like oh I can't fuck around, blah blah blah. It's just like that pressure, but it's just
Yeah.
other than that, it's just such a random story, and they talk about it for so long, and it's just
Yeah.
the whole time I'm just so engaged.
It
It's
just,
just
yeah, it
awesome.
makes like even the fact that they're driving there, you see them walking through the building. It makes like the whole travel sequence interesting, right? Because you're
Mhm.
getting like character moments as the plot is technically progressing. Like they
Yeah.
are going to this place
Yeah,
where they're going to
exactly.
do a thing. And I think you mentioned this quickly in your overall, but yeah, as they're before they go in the elevator, there's like essentially like a security camera,
yeah.
like camera angle, which I really like that as well. I think that's just a fun little thing to throw in there. But yeah, I love that scene as well. Just talking about like what does a foot massage really mean? It's such a.
What side are you guys
Yeah.
on? Are you on Vincent or Jules?
I mean, well, it's one of those things.
I think Jules just lays it out so perfectly, right? Like the way his progression is like, well, it doesn't mean nothing. Then like how he gets to it, like,
Well,
yeah,
also
I'm kind of on his side.
it's also like what Vincent says, or sorry, Jules says like he would give his mom a foot massage, which like fair, and then Vincent's like, would you give a man a foot massage?
Yeah.
He just like doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
He's like, exactly.
I'm Vincent all the way when he's like, I've given millions of girls million foot massages, and every one of those meant one thing. Vince is 100% right. You don't massage another man's girl's
No,
feet.
yeah,
so
for sure.
100%. So.
No.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Not commonly.
And and I'm sure we'll talk about that scene, but where are you guys on the $5 shake debacle? Would you pay $5 for a shake? Because I easily have. and would.
have.
Yeah.
I could. I mean, it's tough for me these days because I'm like full on lactose intolerant now. So
Me
it's like
too,
I'll
man.
get a stomach ache. So if I'm not going to spend $5, maybe I'll get like a $2 or $3 shake because it's like whatever.
I will pay $5 and then an extra 25 cents for soy. I'm one of those people now.
Oh, okay.
It's worth it, honestly. 'Cause
Pretty
you get those.
damn good shake.
I'll
I
have to
love
try
it
that
too. How
sometime.
like they order all their meals, and the one thing that has a price is just like, and I'll get the $5 shake. Not just I'll get the milkshake. I'll get the shake below. Also,
Yeah.
was
Did-
that Steve Buscemi?
Did you catch
It
Steve
is.
Buscemi?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
because I mentioned that in Reservoir Dogs. No one's seen it, but yeah, it's
I forgot. I totally like. I don't even know if I ever noticed that before.
I never noticed until
because he doesn't really do like the Steve Buscemi voice.
He doesn't do anything.
And
he
it's
does a
the
little
hair.
bit
The
of
hair
What
throws me
will
off.
you take? All right, like he doesn't even have like big lines. Just like we got this burger, we got this burger.
Yeah.
Like when we do our rankings, the other thing we're gonna do is like pick 5 actors who've been in movies and 5 actors who have been in his movies. Like make our not a draft, but like a top 10 people we want for his last one.
Oh,
And
yeah.
him, I really want because I'm surprised he's never done anything again with Buscemi because he was a big part of Reservoir Dogs.
He was huge.
And the fact that it's weird because like he brings back Harvey Keitel for The Wolf, and he brings Steve Buscemi back for this, and Keitel he brings back other times. So it's weird that he's never brought him back. So we're gonna
Yeah,
do
there's a lot of crossover between this movie and Reservoir Dogs.
there. You can
actually.
tell they're made very close together, and this is still. I think also it's kind of in that independent realm because it's trivia, but I'll bring it up now because it's for the conversation. Bruce Willis originally was not going to do this movie. Keitel
cartel's
talked him
rapping.
into it, and he had to tell him like, "Oh, you really like Reservoir Dogs." Is this still when Tarantino was like, "Nobody." This movie
Yeah.
blew. When we talked about in a future cast about how Bastards kind of brought him back, Reservoir Dogs was a hit, and it was around that independent circuit and talked about. But it was not. It's kind of like the guy if you made that guy that made Hereditary right now, and then if Midsommar came out, just was nominated for a bunch
Yeah.
of Oscars. That's what this was because Bruce Willis had to be convinced. Like, if you think about it, you've seen Reservoir Dogs. It's a great movie, but still pretty low budget. Could have just been a one-time, like a one-hit wonder, right? So that's why I think he used a lot of the same people because they were willing to work with him. Where after this, anybody, like you'll see in Jackie Brown, like De Niro's and Michael Keaton. Like I think after Pulp Fiction, everyone was like, "Oh, I'll do this." Brad Pitt, Leo, but I think that's why. But I would love to when we do that cast. Buscemi's definitely on my. I think there's so many actors, but if I had to bring one of the 5 back, I'd love because I think they has like a good style mix, but maybe Buscemi's busy doing Grown Ups 3 or something. So
Yikes.
I hate that he's in those
Big whoop.
fucking movies.
I wanted to go along because we were talking about how they were walking through the apartment. We
Yeah.
talked about how Butch was walking. There's more of these like cameras following scenes, which I think are interesting. Vincent, as he's walking through Jack Rabbit Slims, and he's just like, it's such like a stimulus overload, essentially. All
Oh,
this
yeah.
fucking music and like these people dressed up as Marilyn Monroe.
He says
and
that
he's like
wax
high
museum,
as fuck.
yeah.
And it's funny. He's just like, he walks like right by her. And she's like, has to call him to come back. Like, it's just a little detail that's like, he's just so zoned out, focusing on what's going on here. But I also just really like that camera angle because it really like establishes where they are.
And we've
Yeah.
seen that meme so many times of him doing the look around,
Mhm.
but it's so good.
Yeah.
He plays it off. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I don't know if you wanted to go more on that scene, but I was just gonna mention something I noticed, just like the play on like the whole like use of drugs in this movie, because like
Yeah.
anytime they're using drugs, they're just like crazy zoom in
Super
scenes
vivid,
on everything,
yeah.
like when he's doing the heroin and everything, and then I don't know if it's specifically related to drugs, but just like the way the music like I don't know transitions in as well.
Oh, the music's
The music's
transition's
so good in
good
this.
in this, and the transitioning when it's
Yeah.
like switching radio dials and everything, and she's putting on
Yeah,
so good.
And then I was just gonna say like because when he goes to pick up Mia, he gets to the house and really minor, but I like the little touch that they had Mia's voice like reading the note. It wasn't just like it wasn't just for the user to read it or the user. I keep saying that the viewer or like Vincent to read it. It was just like her voice. I don't know. It's really small, but I like the little touch.
Yeah.
And then when he goes in and like he's just fucked up on heroin or something.
Oh yeah.
And he's just all like high, and then he goes in, and then like her voice just comes in. He doesn't even know if it's in his head, if he's hearing anything. Like, and he's just like so confused.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm on the intercom. He's like, where's the intercom? Oh, I just loved
And he
it.
talks into it. Hello, hello. You got to hit the button, Vincent.
I love that. And then if you want to mention that or like about the house, just hold it, because another thing, like, because they're still just on drugs, but when they go to like the restaurant and then like you said, just stimulus overload, he keeps seeing like Marilyn Monroe. I mean, it's user interpretation here, but I feel like he just doesn't know what the fuck's going on. I don't know. That's totally interpretation on my behalf.
He does such a good job of being just like this comfortably numb stoner.
And then when you said like he just walks by her, like he's just lost, and then he's just like calm. He's like, oh yeah, like just playing it off. I just love the way that he acted on how he was just fucked up and tripping.
He's so good at it.
It's so good. I love that so much.
Well, and even that, like, it works for her character, because I'll talk about her in a second, but even when she says don't be a square and she draws it, he sees the lines, and it's like, it is just a fun like film technique, but it also just goes to like, he could actually be seeing this right now, and he's just so messed up. But that's what I love when you're talking about like the note and her voice. They do this good job because they build her up quite a bit before she's introduced. Like, it's only 40 minutes, but everyone talks about like, oh, you're taking out Mia Wallace, oh, the boss's wife, and then you get the foot massage story. And that's what I love, that Uma Thurman, she's great as a bride, but this role to me is just so, it's to me much more difficult than to pull off the cool badass samurai, because she needed to be like very seductive, very sexy, and just she's very fun in this though. She's very down to earth. You need to believe that any guy that gets in a room with her would fall in love with her instantly. And it does that. And one, their conversations are great because she's so charismatic, but two, just this build up of the note, her saying, her doing square but not square, the voice, everything. It's this build up of almost like, I'm being hyperbolic, but like this godly, like goddess character of, you know, it should just be a wife guy. You go there, oh, okay, it's there. But no, she's like a Bond villain too. Like there's this big build up to her, and then when you get to her, she's wanting to dance, and it's normal conversation. But then, and then obviously she's a mess with the drugs and everything like that. But she is just fantastic. And then she just does stuff of, she has no, and that's why to me she's full on manipulator, because she has no reason to say that, oh, the people that are meant to be together, the people that can share uncomfortable silences. Why would you say, oh, she's clearly just like almost prodding Vincent to see how far he will go, and just like, you know, because I feel like the getting the thrown out the windows maybe happened several times with her and whatnot, and it's so good, and they have such good chemistry, and that to me is my favorite segment of the movie, when he arrives there, the restaurant and the drug thing. There's so many other good things, but it's just because, and I love Sam Jackson and Vincent, but their chemistry together are so good. Even their stupid dances, I love. They attribute Batman 66 with the fingers and everything like that, but it's just like that could have been the big, I think, down point in this movie, because I don't think Butch's would have ever been, because that's the fun, not fun, but like the adventure action portion. Jules and Vincent is all about hitman and killing people. That's cool. The whole taking the boss's wife on a date, you know, a date, it's not a date, I'm just taking her out. Take her out? No, like take her out for dinner. That could have been so boring, and for me that is the highlight of that movie, because you get to see Vincent at his like his prime in a way of being this. He is a cold hitman, and he's very smart, but he's also just a big aloof at the same time. And she, like I said, comes off as this like crime goddess. She is a trophy wife. That's exactly it, and she just comes off so desirable, and I love that. And it's very well done. So
it's really good chemistry between the two of them. And then I was just gonna mention when they're at the restaurant and she makes that comment of like about the awkward silence, and then I'm gonna go powder my nose, blah blah blah. And
you gotta
like,
think of something clever to say when I get back.
Like they are having like good conversations, but it's nothing like too intense, or just it's pretty much just small talking at that point. But like when she goes, snorts a line, heads back.
I said, God damn.
Yeah, and great scene. Just all the women in there just like fix up their makeup. She just does a line right there. But she heads back, and then she gets her food, and like from that point on, like obviously she's just fresh on her high. I don't know what a coke bump is like, but I'm sure it's pretty wild. But like she's just Travis would know. Yeah. But she's just like, their conversation from that point on, it just gets like really like what's the right word I'm looking for? It's just really like well thought out and like methodical. I felt, at least, like
it is, but it's also very flirty at the same time, because at that point you feel the conversation would turn when she says, "Do you think it's something clever to say?" But then he's starting to ask her personal questions about the foot massage, and then they dance together. It takes like almost doubles down of like, oh, you think it's going to get back to, it is methodical, but it gets back, or it doesn't get back in just milkshake. It's like now they're talking about personal lives.
For
and
sure.
It's like, oh
for sure.
boy.
I was talking more on the lines. It's not just like she's just tripping out on her bump.
Yeah.
She's like full on like a scholar at that point. Like they're talking. I forget specifically what they're talking about, but
They're talking about the foot massage because he says, "I got to ask you something," and you.
Yeah, that's what
I don't
he-
want you to be
yes.
offended, and she's like, "I can't promise
Right.
that because I don't know what you're going to ask
Yeah.
me. I could be offended." He's like, "I'm not going to continue." She's
my
like, well,
natural response could be
yeah,
offended,
and
and it
she's
would be
like-
no fault of my own.
and
It's
she's
just the
like-
way she's talking.
Yeah, and she's like, "There's no going back now. You
Yeah.
brought it up. Like you got to bring it." And then
Yeah.
and then when she does,
Because
break
she's so
down-
interested in the conversation too.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, like, is she into him or is she just fucking around?
Oh,
as
and
she-
you
as she
never know.
does?
And
You never know.
I feel like you do at the end kind of know when they do that joke, and then also when they check up on each other, like, "Oh, how were you after the night?" And she goes, "Oh, I never thank you for dinner." To me, I always got that vibe that she was kind of playing with him, but then by the end of the night, after all the things he did for her, that she did kind of care for him. But obviously, he died, so nothing would ever happen. And
Yeah.
especially that's why I love. Like, it's a weird thing. Again, the film is again almost leading towards to believe that storyline is going to continue and he's maybe going to pursue her, but he gets killed. So that could have happened, but unfortunately,
It's funny too because I was because they're talking about the like the other guy. I keep forgetting his name. The dude got thrown off. Do you remember?
No, I know.
Yeah.
I've forgotten.
I think
it
his name
too.
starts with an A, but I could totally wrong. But anyways, I digress.
Oh shit! I think you're right too. I literally just popped in my mind and then I
Yeah,
forgot
fuck.
it too. But yeah,
But I was watching like probably half this movie with Shay. She's never seen Pulp Fiction before, and like as soon as it happens, she's like, "Oh well, they're obviously gonna like get together and sleep together." I'm like, just wait.
they play up that trope. They
Just
set it
wait,
up
yeah.
completely.
They do
right?
set it up,
Yeah.
and it's totally like that's what you expect to happen. It's just like these two at the time. Obviously, I don't remember when this movie came up, but like
1994.
to me, these are huge actors in my
Mhm.
eyes. So it's like you get these two big stars. Like I just feel like they got good chemistry. It just makes sense for them to, I don't know, run away from the boss and just live in France or something. Just super
Yeah.
just like we've seen that
Every other
before, right?
movie,
Yeah,
yeah.
cookie cutter. And then, but no, it's totally not like that. That's why I was like, oh, I just wish Shay could just watch this whole movie right now because she's fresh set of eyes. She's never seen it before. Like I wish I could be her with her virgin
Yeah.
eyes, seeing this for the first
Yeah.
time.
His name was Anton.
Anton,
Yeah,
there you
yeah,
go.
Anton.
Anton.
Yeah.
But,
Fucking Anton.
and like the last thing you were talking about with that conversation, when she does break down the why she wouldn't, like, why would Marcellus Wallace throw him out just for a foot massage?
Mhm.
She breaks down a very believable way, all the dialogue, everything
Yeah.
like that. And like I said, her actions later on to make me believe, like, I don't know. You never know. That's the thing I like about that character. You don't know
Yeah.
that she could just be this kind soul that gets this bad reputation because she's dating Marcellus Wallace and she
Oh,
has this
yeah.
personality, or she does come off as very kind of
When they get
manipulative.
back to her place before she takes the drugs and overdoses, like they're really close. They're about to kiss, right?
Oh,
She's
yeah.
planning on sleeping with him. And that
yeah.
scene is so good when John Travolta's in the mirror, just like,
I love it.
this is a test of loyalty. And this is what life throws at
One
you.
drink,
Just,
don't be rude.
yeah.
As he takes all this time,
He's like, drink it quick, don't linger, or
Yeah.
whatever he says. It's just so good. Yeah, his little pep talk that he gives himself.
Yeah,
Oh, I was
it's
trying to
great.
find. I had the exact quote. What was it? Oh, and he's in the he's like, one drink, don't be rude. You're gonna go home, jerk off, and that's it. It's a good night. And it's just like he's trying to, and like I feel like that is a very, whether it's that situation, but just I think we've all had that where you're in the mirror, whether it's a job interview, a date, and just like you're talking to yourself, and he just, because this is a guy, and that's why I love that. Later on, he is cool again, but in this one, he's just coming off as like a human character, but just such a kind of like loser character of just like he's nervous, he doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
He could handle any situation, but this girl who everybody has said like, oh, Mia, and he's like, oh, it's not going to be a problem, and now he's like falling in the trap. It's such a fun kind of cat and mouse game, and I love Vincent's my favorite character in this movie, and it's still the reason why I love John Travolta because it's just he's such a unique like
Yeah.
hitman and character. You know,
I would have to agree with you because like for a while, I think because I've seen this movie a handful of times now, and I feel like it's kind of wavered my favorite characters. Like for a while, it was Samuel L. Jackson, probably just for the badassery and
Oh,
like
yeah.
the just like the dialogue and the speech that he. And then when he's just like, I know we already went over that scene, but when he's talking to Buddy with the burger, forget his name, but he's just
Big Kahuna Burger.
yeah, and like he just keeps asking like these little questions, and then when he's like say
His
what
name's
one
Brett.
more time.
His name's Brett.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
And he's like say what one more time, and then he just keeps on, and then when he finally says what, he just shoots him. Like just the way that he's just able to like talk to these people that he's about to kill. Right? It's
Oh,
just,
I'm sorry. Did I
it's-
break your concentration?
yeah, it's so good. But like this recent watch along, it made me just really love Vince, especially like everything he's doing with his body language, like when he's just all high, like in the house, he's just like
Yeah.
all confused. He's not the brightest guy. Like he's just, I don't know. There's just so many.
That's
things
what I
about
love
him.
about him. Though you see the badass side, you see like the hot-headed side when he almost kills you in the pub. But then, like you said, he's not the brightest guy. Then you kind of see the love guy, and then you see the scared when Mia's dying, just in the car. It's like, don't you fucking die on me! And he calls, he calls Lance. Like, you do not? Are you in a cell? I don't know you. I've never met you. And just like. It's so good. And just even then, too, like, and that's what I love. You see the shades.
Oh my God, I'm trying to get it in here, but you guys are just going fucking ham.
My last point is
sorry.
you see the shades of Mr. Mr. Brown. No, why am I mixing it up? Who the fuck is his brother? Why can I not remember his color? Mr. Blonde.
Oh.
That conversation he has with Lance about the guy that keyed his car, and he's like, I want to find him just to fucking kill him. That's like full on his brother right there. So great character. Dylan.
Yeah, I mean, oh man, I was trying to get in there for a bit, but you guys.
Big apology.
I mean, no, that's the
I
thing.
was getting excited.
I think that's what's so great about this. This retro is so different from the other ones we've done, just because like the passion is just overflowing, right? Like we can't hold back. Like we just love every fucking scene of this movie has so many great moments in it. So I guess you guys pretty much said everything on Mia, but the last thing is I just think she does so good at all the overdose stuff. Like just as an acting thing, you really feel like that. Like she's fucking gonna die. As an as an actress, as a person, you think she's done. So she just nails that. Like very, very visceral. And one more thing from the Jackrabbit Slim scene, I like. There's a shot goes on for a while, where it's from the side, and Vincent's on the left and she's on the right, and it's just like classic from that side. And they're just having the conversation, and they call back to that shot at the very end of the movie between Vince and Jules as they're sitting at the diner. And it's the same camera angle. Vince is in the exact same spot on the left side of the screen, and Jules is on the right. And I like that they have that callback shot as well.
Yeah.
It's two like big scenes for Vince's character, and it's fun to have those. I feel like there's a lot of callback shots with his character in particular, and I don't know how much of it. I mean, I'm sure a lot of it was purposeful. It seems like everything in this movie is intentional, and that's what is so cool about it. But yeah, that stuff's amazing. Go ahead.
The one other thing on that diner scene, just when they're dancing, Chad's mentioned the super tacky dancing, but I think I saw a video. It was like Tarantino dancing behind the camera while they're dancing. So anytime I see that scene, I just picture him grooving, and it's just it's awesome.
That's good. As for Vince, I mean, I totally agree. He's such a fun character. He plays that like just comfortably numb character so well. Like once again, just totally like believable for what the character is going through. I think maybe my favorite part. I mean, it's so hard to say. Every scene is so good with him, but I love the scene when they go to Jimmy's house. Like that whole sequence when they're in the fucking car and then he shoots him in the head. He's like, "Oh man, why'd you shoot Marvin?"
And they're like so calm. Like you'd think other people would just be like, "Holy fuck!" Blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. And he's just like, blah, 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 blah. Like we're driving down, like, and he's just like, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to."
Yeah, it's just totally unexpected. Like it's such a weird thing to like, why would that happen? It doesn't make any sense. And right before he dies, I love how they're talking about something. I forget what it is. And he turns around. He's like, "Marvin, what do you think?" He's like, "Man, I don't even have an opinion." I used that line in the group chat. No one noticed it, but I thought it was pretty good.
I'll notice it now.
These Travis and Taylor were talking about some shit I don't even know, and I just dropped that line in there and then left. But yeah, I love that whole scene just because of how weird it is, how strange it is. But then you just go to Jimmy's house, and then you have Tarantino's character who's just dropping a lot of N-bombs in this scene. But yeah, and then they call in the wolf, who's just a really fun character. But Vincent, how like fucking, oh my God, how much of a dick he is in that whole scene. How he's like, clearly he fucked up all of this.
He's
like he just shot a guy in the head. It's like totally his fault, 100% completely. But yet he's still like demanding that like polite to him, like, I don't like to be told what to do.
He's calling out the wolf, and just like, oh my, this is not the time.
I love when
It's like they have no time. Yeah, you have no time for
I
this.
love when he's wiping his hands too, and he's like cleaning them. It's just like literally just full on red. The red.
Yeah.
He's like, this looks like a damn maxi pad.
He's like, I'd wash my hands.
Another doorway scene.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, yeah.
Another doorway
Yeah,
scene.
that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Tarantino's best role too, because I think sometimes like if you look at it when we get to Django, very over top is Australian. This is the
He's
most.
pretty
I think,
funny in Death Proof as well.
Yeah, I think this is like most like natural. Like this feels like Tarantino. So
There's one weird part where they're like when they're hosing them down, and Tarantino's like pointing, and like I feel like he does it like even though he's already stopped shooting water at him. It's like just some acting.
they're
thing.
missing a scene there too, because there's one moment where he stops and they still have blood in their hair, and then the next thing they're just throwing them clothes in there.
Right.
So I feel like it's just some
was-
scene was burnt or something.
Yeah,
so.
there's one scene that was supposed to be in there.
I remember what I was gonna mention. Going back to that scene when Vincent shoots, what's his name, Marvin?
Marvin.
Yeah, Marvin, and just like the amount of just like full on like just graphicness that goes like it's just
They got brains in their hair.
oh yeah like they're talking, they're having a full on conversation, and then like Jules just has like brain in his fro, like it's just so like oh man, like that is such a messy and then when they're cleaning out the car and they have to pick up like the skull fragments, it's like man, I would
it's just
sign out.
it's just like no other directors or writers would like think to have a scene like that right, where it's just like this, just some like random accident happens that's just like super weird, and then they're like, okay, we got to solve this problem now, and it's going to spend another 20 minutes in the movie to do it, and then it introduces like two more characters, like super weird. One thing I like about that, they're talking about like, you know, what's going to happen when Bonnie gets home, and then they have like that scene where it's like once again a camera following someone, and it follows her as she walks into the room and sees it. Just like it reminds me of that scene in Inglourious Basterds where you just have like that quick cut of like that. One of those like Hitler's minion guys like fucking the translator. Just a super quick scene.
Tarantino's expression
so
when she walks in, he's like, like he's trying, like he's scared, but it's so
trying
good.
to play it off all cool.
And because like obviously maybe that could happen, but they never brought the body in, so it's just like this like high fantasy of like the worst thing that could happen, like these two random guys with a body in the middle of their living room. Like it's so funny, it's so weird.
Mm-hmm. I guess the wolf, you know, they go through that whole scene.
Oh yeah,
I love how they go, and then like there's that scene with his girlfriend or whatever it is. I wrote this dialogue down because I thought it was really funny.
At the like junkyard.
Yeah. He's talking about like you gotta have respect for your elder, or he says respect for one's elder shows character, and she's like, I have character. And he says, of course you are a character. It doesn't mean you have character, which I think is just a perfect like fourth wall breaking moment where. Just like some character who has no impact on the story, and like even in Tarantino fashion, like doesn't have any sort of personality whatsoever. But he just like comments on that. Very unnecessary. You don't need that scene in the movie, especially because he doesn't give them a ride anywhere, like because they're the opposite direction. So he says essentially "fuck off." Yeah. So I thought that was a beautiful little detail to throw in there.
Just on the same note as the wolf. Just from his first like introduction, he's like, "I'm 20 minutes away. I'll be there in 10." Yeah. Just and then they kind of like mention that again when they finally clean up the car and then they're going to the junkyard. He's like, "I'll drive the hot vehicle. Blah blah blah. You follow behind me." He's like, "Keep up with me. I drive really fucking fast." I laughed so hard at that because it's just obviously does if he got there in 10 minutes. When he's 20 minutes. Like it's just so great.
He's
and
such a funny
that whole character in general is just great. Yeah. The way he just handled the scene, the way he like handles Jimmy. Mm-hmm. Like Jimmy, he's like, "Can I get a cup of coffee from you?" And it's just like all the little things. It's just that character was great. Harvey Keitel was excellent as the wolf.
The role was
he's
written
fantastic.
For him.
Really?
Yep.
That makes sense.
I've dished out some of my trivia already, so it'll be a
I know I like
section,
it. Well, it's like a 94 movie, right? So there's gotta be tons of trivia.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Let's see. I have some random miscellaneous thoughts here. One thing with the linearity, I love just how you see them without like where'd their clothes go, and then that's like answered like way later in the movie. I think that's just a fun thing keeps the movie interesting. I also at one point, it's in that actually same scene when Jules calls Marcellus to get some help for the situation when he calls him the wolf. I just love Marcellus's outfit. He has like these
he looks
sick
sick.
Suns. He's got like the yellow turtleneck.
So sick, yeah.
I love that outfit.
I don't know why,
so
but
much.
I'm just growing on these turtlenecks lately. I think we saw it on Fassbender
in First
then,
Class. Yeah. There you go. You can rock that.
I should. Even Leo in I think Once More Time in Hollywood. He was dressed up with a turtleneck.
He is on the poster.
Yeah.
One more doorway angle at the very end of the movie. Actually, when they just walk through the door as
that was cool.
The movie.
Yeah, I like
just
that.
a classic, and then cuts into the music again.
They look like a couple of dorks.
Mm-hmm.
You're closed, motherfucker.
One more doorway. There's so many doorway shots in this movie. You mentioned the one with Jimmy and the wolf in the other room. One I really like as well is during the GIMP scene when Bruce Willis's character named what's his name again? Butch. Yeah, he's sitting in the chair, and then they take I guess they're both still sitting in the chair, and then you can see as the pawn shop owner goes like through the door
to get the GIMP.
Yeah, goes into the background. You can kind of just see it in the background. You hear this really weird stuff. Like obviously, just mentioning the GIMP, they're like, "What the fuck is going on here?" And I love that shot, how you can just see their reactions, like, what the hell is going on here?
They look at each other, too.
Yeah.
Just love that scene. One thing I noticed just this time as well, the pawn shop owner has what's called heterochromia. He has like his colors of different eyes.
I didn't notice that.
And I'm not sure if I looked it up, and apparently the actor doesn't, that's not an inherent quality that he has.
Wow.
So I don't know if it was just some weird camera angle lighting thing, or if they specifically did that for the movie through contacts or something. But a weird little detail that I just noticed this time around. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't notice that.
I and all the times I watched it, I never noticed it before. But then I googled it, and other people saw it, so I don't think I'm totally crazy. I might be a bit crazy.
Just in that same pawn shop scene when Butch like escapes and then he's about to leave, knows it's the right thing to do to go save Marcellus.
Comes back with a sword.
Yeah, well, it's like I just love like when he's like picking his weapons. He like goes around, finds like a little hammer, finds a baseball bat. He's like, oh yeah, this will work, blah blah blah. And then he finally just sees something, and we don't know it like right away. And then he grabs the samurai sword. Loved it.
Chainsaw's a shout out to Evil Dead.
Oh yeah, chainsaw. Yeah, that's right.
Shout out to Evil Dead.
And I feel like there's something else. I don't know.
My last like kind of main discussion topic is what's in the briefcase, boys.
That was the other thing I was going to mention, actually. So, yeah.
What is it?
Jewels from Reservoir Dogs. I just always say that.
I don't like that, though.
I always say
What'd you
that.
say?
The jewels from Reservoir Dogs. I always just say that just to link them all together. I have no idea. I have some theories.
I like that theory a lot, actually. The Reservoir Dogs one.
Yeah, but it doesn't make much sense unless they're like some expensive jewels that people have been trying to get. But yeah, I have no idea what it would be. So I always just kind of resort to that, even though it should be something much bigger.
I mean, what's his name? Ringo does say, is his name actually Ringo, or are we just calling him that?
Well, Jackson calls him Ringo the whole time. I don't know.
But does he say that's what his name is, or does he just start calling him that?
I think he starts calling him that.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I think it's good. It's a good name.
Yeah.
It's distinctive. He says, oh, it's
Kinda
so
like
beautiful.
Ringo, yeah.
Like that's the one line we get that like really describes it. So because of that it makes me think it's like some sort of jewelry or like some amulet or
some
something.
Some people have said like this is where it would be like the other Tarantino movies. I'm not sure if it's in that trivia put, but some people said it's Marcellus Wallace's soul.
Yeah, I was thinking it could be something like metaphysical. Like I'm thinking like Harry Potter mirror thing where it's like it's the thing you desire the most or something like that. I don't think I like for how many times I've seen this movie, I've never been able to come up with a totally satisfactory answer. I like the Reservoir Dogs thing the best, and I think I'm gonna go with that one for my own headcanon.
I just go for that because my headcanon is just like the reason these people won the jewels is because there are some really expensive like jewels that have some lineage, and maybe that's why they're so shiny and thought after. Like it'd be like an heirloom you'd see in the news, so that's why they wouldn't get.
And you never see those in that movie either. So
no, exactly.
Kind of left up to your imagination.
Yeah. I remember being a young buck when I saw this movie. Same thing as Travis. Probably watched this way too young, but that's all right.
I think I was like high school when I watched it. So
but I remember like being like mad that they didn't tell me what it was. I remember like asking my dad. He's like, "Oh no, that's the main part. Like it's up for interpretation. Like you're not supposed to know." And I'm like, "Fuck that. Why don't they tell us? Come on, this is stupid." But now I definitely appreciate more that they like don't reveal it because it's just. Fan fiction, like the Reservoir Dogs theory.
Keeps you thinking.
Yeah, totally. And just one of the greatest moments, like in a movie, is just when Vincent grabs the case the first time, just opens it. It's just shining on his face. He's just looking at.
Is that it?
Yeah,
we good?
That's it.
Oh,
he's just looking.
Good.
Yeah, just so great. But I really don't have any theories, and I leave it to. It could be the Ark of the Covenant for all I fucking know.
The Ark of the
Some
Covenant.
people have said it's something from Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Like there's a bunch of like wild ones out there. Yeah.
We, switching topics.
Infinity Gauntlet now.
The
Ooh,
Infinity
let's go.
Gauntlet. Yeah, we
It's a
talked
soul
about
stone.
everything leading up to the scene, the whole walking through the apartment. We never talked about the scene itself, but I love it. I love how he just takes a bite of his burger. Do you mind if I have a taste of your Sprite to wash down this tasty burger? Like all the dialogue is so good. How commanding
Slurps
he
the
is.
whole thing
Yeah,
down,
he's
too.
like, "Oh, keep chilling, man," just on the couch. I love it. You get
He's
the
so
callback
inviting,
scene.
yeah.
You get the callback scene where the guy pops out of the side room and just misses all the shots. It's just a wonderful scene. I love how Vincent just lets him do his thing. He's just smoking, looking through the cupboards and stuff. No, the one by your knee is like just little details like that, and how like he just leaves up to Jules to do all of the interrogating.
What does Marcellus Wallace look like?
Yeah, just a classic scene.
Yeah.
I just love. I don't. There's a question actually. I guess.
Okay.
Not
Hit
a
us.
comment.
Hit us.
So when the guy comes out of the bathroom, shoots whoever and gets nobody, it's a miracle, right? There's like bullet holes behind where Jules was standing.
It's supposed to be like an outline.
But it wasn't. It was like literally like right at his body. Like he was standing there. Like where he's standing, you can see like 3 bullet holes. There's one like right here, and then 2 on the side, and then he turns around, and there's literally just 2 like where he was standing, like on his body. Maybe check it back
because he's not standing right next to the wall, right? They're like 10 feet away from the wall, so
it could have been the angle.
I think it's just a perspective.
But it's
thing.
just when he turns, it just looked like it was exactly where his body was. So I was like, that is some god shit.
Yeah, I mean it's like. it is kind of like what Travis was saying, or like the budget, like even when they're
that's a
shooting,
full-on independent
it's a little
Yeah.
over the top and not like
I-
fully visceral or realistic.
when they kill Brett, and it's just like there's like a weird like effect like on the
It's
camera.
like a shine of the suitcase.
Yeah,
almost.
yeah, exactly. It's hilarious. Like both just cap. It's just so good.
Yeah.
Let's see about my notes. Unless you guys had any other conversations. Anything?
I think I mentioned most of my
No, I
notes.
have some quick notes to shout out, but
I already mentioned it,
quotes.
just like the zoom in on the drugs on like anytime they're like snorting line. Oh, and then the scene when Vincent goes to Lance and he's buying the heroin for the first time. He just pulls out this huge wad of cash. It's just so funny to me.
Yeah.
Like it's probably like fucking like $50,000 right there, like in cash. Like it's just so thick. It's hilarious. I just love that.
You
the
might-
one,
you
the
reminded
one
me
you're
of
talking
something.
about, the one with the shit all over her face. That's my wife.
Yeah,
And then he's just
that's
like
so
very
good.
nonchalant, like, "Oh, sorry, man."
Yeah, he
Yeah.
just laughs. It's so good.
I like in that scene too when he's getting the drugs and he's like, "Oh, I don't have any of these whatever things. Is a baggie okay?" And he's like, "It's just one of those little details that makes the scene feel realistic because he's just out of bag, so he
Yeah.
has to call for his wife to get one cool detail."
So yeah, but it's just those little, like the super little things that
Yeah.
they're not necessary, but it's just it adds the realism.
Mhm.
It just
They're
feel-
there to make
exactly
the characters feel real.
My notes. I had music choices in here 3 times because I
Oh, yeah.
did
Yeah,
not want to
music's great.
forget
I
to bring
listened
it
to the
up.
soundtrack
It is.
Spotify today.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
download it actually today. I don't have data.
I'm gonna sing it.
I'll sing it on the rooftops, Travis. Steve Buscemi mentioned blah blah blah. Butch. Actually, yeah, that's all my notes. I was gonna call this the Fox Force 3 cast because the homies. Let's go.
Great joke, by the way.
It
And
was a great
I
joke.
love that, the whole pie. And that's one thing that does get me excited, the whole talking about Hollywood. That specifically got me excited for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, because I feel, I've said this in newscasts and other casts, I just feel that's going to be very meta, and even though it's in the 70s, it's going to have to do a lot with Hollywood and what today is, and even back then, but it's fun that that's for 15 minutes, and, you know, who knows, maybe we'll get some... shout out of some show or Fox Force 5. I know the timeline doesn't match up, but you know Tarantino finds a way.
I absolutely love too how she just like emphasizes just like, or no, sorry, Vincent's like, promise me, or I promise you I won't laugh. Blah, blah, blah. She's like, no, that's the point. Like it's that bad. Blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. And then he's just so. She basically almost died. He's just so drained. He's probably like burnt out from his high that he had. Like he's just such in like a shitty place. And she like tells him the joke, and he just naturally like lets out like a real laugh.
Huh.
It's just yeah, like it's just like obviously it's not like a full on burst out laugh, but it's just so like oh yeah.
It's like a chuckle, yeah.
Yeah, like I
and
just
that,
love it.
Yeah, I love that moment because that's like just them both like stripped down. I have one thing about them that I've always found fun, that when they have their burgers and whatnot, they both right away say bloody, really bloody.
Yeah.
And to me, that's just specifically like, again, is emphasizing these characters. I used to eat bloody meat, but it just feels like the way they're just, oh yeah, bloody right away. It just emphasizes that these are in this dirty world and whatnot. So I've always liked that touch.
Cool.
That
It was Dylan's nickname, but you know, my name's Paul. It's between y'all.
I
So
love
And
that
then
line.
Travolta under his breath is just like, why you fucking asked me
He's
about
like,
that
asshole.
then asshole? Yeah, like he's just such a like he's a loose cannon who always holds back, but he just like just snide comments. This is just a weird thing I'm throwing out there, but I think it's a sin to start a meal with a milkshake. I never do that. I have to eat a meal and then a milkshake. You guys do that? Could you have a meal could you get a milkshake and then have a burger? I have to have it at the end. So Mia just like that's
Yeah,
a
I
sin
think at
for
the
me.
end is the right thing to do as well.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I used to do that though,
Oh,
and then
savage.
but I haven't been having milkshakes.
Yeah.
We touched upon it.
Fair enough.
Lactose.
Yeah.
The uncomfortable silence comments for a while. That's how I like in real life was like, oh, that's how I got to find the right girl, you know, because sharing uncomfortable silence with someone, you know. So just show that
Cool.
out there. That was
Did you use that on Emily by chance?
any girl I've had a good relationship with
Okay.
is like that has to be
Sure.
to be a thing, you know, because it's a real comment. I that's always struck with me when I was younger and said that, and that's when I was just starting to date.
Well, it makes sense though, right? Like,
Yeah.
like because you can't just always be conversing, or you can't always just be, I don't know, fucking playing football or I don't know.
Mhm.
Insert blank.
Mm-hmm.
There's just one quote I've always
Playing
liked.
football.
It's Butch is like most
was stretching.
cocky and confident when he's beating on Marcellus Wallace, and he's like, "Having a good day, big boy? That's pride fucking with you." And then he just like knocks him out, and he's just such a nonchalant piece of shit. Jules, what's Fonzie like? Cool, correctamundo.
Yeah.
just some good stuff. That's all the stuff I have.
Rectamundo, Ringo. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I have some trivia left.
Give us
but
the trivia.
yeah.
I'm ready. Taylor Field.
Yeah. The shot of Vincent plunging the syringe into Mia's chest was filmed having Travolta pull the needle out and then running the film backwards. If you watch carefully, you can see the mark on Mia's chest disappear when she's revived. So they just did it in reverse. That's a very classic indie trick. So,
Sure.
I told you about the Butch and Key in the car. Thurma originally turned down the role of Mia Wallace. Tarantino was so desperate to have her as Mia, he ended up reading her the script over the phone, finally convincing her to take the role. What was there? Some actresses: Isabella Rossellini, Meg Ryan, Daryl Hannah, Joan Cusack, and Michelle Pfeiffer were all interviewed for the role of Mia Wallace. Out of all of them, Tarantino preferred Pfeiffer, but he still really wanted Thurma, and he got her. But Pfeiffer, white gold. So you know how I feel about that. In the opening sequence with Honey Bunny and Pumpkins, Jules can be heard. I talked to you about that. Can be heard in the background. He's talking about life. You can see Vincent going away. Blah blah blah. I told you about the Bruce Wilson Harvey Keitel thing. The Brad motherfucker was Tarantino's wallet. Tarantino hesitated over the choice between the character he was going to play with Jimmy or Lance. He ended up choosing Jimmy's role because he wanted to be behind the camera for Mia's overdose. So, he wrote the role for the Wolf for Harvey Keitel. Speculation abounds on the nature of the mysterious glowing contents in the case. Tarantino simply said it was MacGuffin, plot device. Could be the Elvis gold suit seen by Val Kilmer in True Romance. That's a film he wrote. The most persistent theory is that it's Marcellus Wallace's soul. The story goes that the devil takes a personal soul and is removed through the back of your head. This explains the bandage. When he sees the back of the head, Band-Aid covering it. Sold the soul to his devil because the combination of the briefcase is 666.
Yeah, I noticed that.
So he said that the Band-Aid on the back, I told you about that, was about he shaved, blah blah blah. It's all a bunch of stuff that I told you already. But Tarantino, when asked, just said it's whatever the viewer wants it to be.
Yeah.
So there you
As
go.
it should be.
As it should be.
As it fucking should be.
Towards the end of the film, Jules says he wants to retire and become a drifter and walk the earth. In Kill Bill, he turns up as Rufus playing the piano as a drifter. So he's in Kill Bill.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Drifter.
I kind of forgot he was in those movies, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, he's in a few of them, yeah. A scene removed from the final film involved Jules trying to consider what to do while Pumpkin and Honey Bunny rob the diner. In a scene, Jules points his gun at the ball on the tail, fires up twice, hitting Pumpkin and killing him. And he then spins around and shoots Honey Bunny 3 times, killing her. As she falls, her gun goes off and hits the long-haired yuppie scum, who dies screaming on the floor. The scene cuts back to Jules talking to Pumpkin and Dyer, revealing the shootings have happened entirely in Jules' mind. I like that scene's not in there because I think if that happens, then you kill the tension of like, well, he's clearly not going to shoot him if he just imagined it. So Daniel Day-Lewis won the role of Vincent Vega, but he turned it down because Tarantino really wanted John Travolta. John Travolta, he's gone on record and said that he wanted him because John Travolta, he was big in Grease, but he was also big in this TV show. And then after this, his career was kind of in a downturn, and Tarantino did his this was like the first like rehabbing of a career. He was just a huge fan of John Travolta. It was kind of like his man crush, and that's why he just desperately wanted him in here.
He was so good in it.
Yeah, Mickey Rourke passed on the role of Butch in order to pursue a boxing career. Funny enough, he claimed that he didn't understand the script and later regretted the decision. Yeah, Steve Buscemi having to refuse the role of Jimmy due to scheduling conflicts. He appears as Buddy Holly, obviously a fun tip to the hat of Reservoir Dogs, talking about tipping and waiting and everything like that, fun. And then early in production, Tarantino contemplated casting Tim Rolfe as Vincent and Gary Oldman and Jules, rewriting those characters to English guys, but that didn't happen. And I'm glad it didn't because I don't think it would have fit the vibe of this movie.
No.
I would like to see that combo, but I don't think it would have fit the vibe
Anytime
of this
there's like those possibility like castings, like you said, Michelle Pfeiffer, Daniel Day-Lewis for who was
Vincent Vega.
Yeah, Vincent. It's just like for how perfect this movie is in my eyes, it's just like anything like that. It's just it seems off.
I didn't pick it, but there's one on IMDb. There's like it's this casting screen thing back from the 90s they found, and it has for each role a list of about 5 to 15 different actors. So like for every role, and it was just huge. So look it up if you're interested. But it's just tons of names were considered for all these roles. So yeah, that is that.
That's the pulp.
Final thoughts, like I've said before. This is my favorite movie. I love it. I watch it over and over again. This is just a clean 10. I don't know what else to say about it. Just I could just watch it over and over. Great characters, great dialogue, great scenes. It's genre I like. Yeah, it's just a very memorable, great movie. And it's one of those, it's just one of those special movies. It's in that kind of S tier. I give it a 10, but it's like it's just in a class.
A 10
of its
is a
own.
disservice.
It is, and that's why I say it's in a class of its own. It is that God tier. It's just it's fantastic. So yeah,
Deserves a flaggy fun buck.
Pulp Fiction. Yep.
I think really when they open the briefcase, what they see is the movie Pulp Fiction.
Oh,
it's
breaking
beautiful.
The fourth wall.
That's what I think.
I like that.
They just look in there and it's
I've never heard
it's
that
a
theory
perfect-
before. But
I just
like
came
it.
up with it right now.
I like
So
it.
that's probably why you haven't heard
You're
it.
so smart, Dylan.
Thank you so much, Kirkland Patzer.
You're welcome, Dylan Musk.
I don't
And
really
there's
have
Travis.
final thoughts. This is a perfect movie for me. This is easily my top 5, if not top 3, if not favorite movie. Honestly, every time I watch it, it gets better and better. I discover more details. Casting's perfect, acting's perfect, dialogue is amazing. It's the pacing of it and like the non-linearity. It's just perfection. It is just like I feel like Tarantino had a vision for this movie and he executed it perfectly. This is like a time when some artistic venture was exactly what he wanted to be in his head, which doesn't always happen, but he was able to do it with this movie, and I think it's a big success.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You guys said everything perfectly, just like this movie did.
Oh,
Perfect 10 out of 10 for me. Just absolutely one of my favorite movies of all time. I could watch
I'll give
this
it a 10 as well.
multiple times. That's a rare rating from
throwing
Dylan.
a number.
I'm
Wow.
gonna break out of my long slump of non-numbers to give Pulp Fiction a 10.
It's just that worthy, eh?
Yeah,
It's that S tier
Yeah.
quality. Yeah. So
it's got a lot of pulp in
this
it.
is a great movie, and
And it makes
I don't
sense.
actually like pulp, but
Mm.
in my juice
I get extra.
but I
pulp
like
with
it in my
orange juice.
fiction. Ew.
let's go. You don't like orange juice with pulp?
No.
It's a game changer.
Fucking hate it.
You got to chew your drink, man.
I hate chewing drinks. It's
Ew.
my pet peeve.
Oh, I made Travis cringe. That was a golden night. All right.
Bye.
All the links are in the description. Thank you very much for tuning in. YouTube, podcast, all links down there. Subscribe, review. Thank you very much. Next episode, we're going to be talking about Jackie Brown. I'm
Let's
very
go.
excited to talk about this one.
The only Tarantino movie I haven't seen.
Me?
Let's go.
I haven't seen it either, but it's not the only Tarantino movie.